Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Harley Quinn Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. So, just as a note, we are doing 7 and 8 this week. Next week we'll be doing 9 and 10 to finish off the season. And then after that, Chainsaw Man. So, that is the plans, and I don't plan to change that. But that being said, let's talk about this, because last time we had the Joker episode, and outside of a few good jokes and everything, I kind of said it last time, it was the weakest episode of the season. It just wasn't as funny, entertaining, and it was missing the one key component that has honestly kept this season together, and that is heart. As much as it tries to, as much as the writers try to make this entire thing with the Joker and his family work, they just, in my opinion, haven't been. It's like, I like the idea, but the actual, like, execution of that concept has not been, it's just not been working. It's not funny, it's not interesting. Honestly, Joker's been one of the weakest parts of the season as a whole. And it's disappointing because there's a lot of potential there. It's just not being capitalized on. On the other hand, the best part of the season has been Harley and Ivy's relationship, and they were pretty much absent from the last episode. The only problem is, it's not only the best part of the season, it's really the only good part of the season. Harley and Ivy's relationship has been holding season 3 together, has been carrying it on its back. It's really the only thing that season 3 has going for it. Because the pacing sure as hell isn't doing anything. The Catwoman Bruce Wayne stuff is honestly boring. It's like nothing else is working. The entire thing with Clayface and the James Gunn movie, absolutely uninteresting. Harley and Ivy's relationship continuing to grow, and them to learn more about each other and, you know, be more open with each other and everything. Again, it's really the only thing that's been working for this season, and it really sucks. And some of you may disagree with me, and that's fine. But I feel like I'm just not enjoying this season as much. Like, to a notable degree. And while it does have the good stuff with Harley, it's like, that's not enough for me. When everything else in the season is bogging things down so hard. Having a good queer relationship is nice, but it doesn't fix the issues with the season. It doesn't stop me from being constantly bored by everything else going on around it. And unfortunately, there's a lot else. I didn't even mention Gordon. Because he's so fucking forgettable this season. He's so uninteresting. And honestly, he's kind of taking... I know that Two-Face was manipulating him, but he's been kind of taking some steps back on his character development, which has annoyed the fuck out of me. And again, I know Two-Face was manipulating him, but his character development has been honestly something great about his character. And even if there's a in-universe reason for why he'd be backpedaling on that, it is so fucking, as a viewer, so fucking annoying and makes him really not likable and not enjoyable to watch. it becomes a slog on the season. There was some good stuff once about the Bat family, but that hasn't been expanded upon, even though that could have been a better B plot for the season than the entire Gordon bullshit. It's just this season has been exceptionally disappointing to me. And again, some of you may think different. A lot of you might think different. But male person's here. She'll stop in a moment once they leave. But yeah, it's just this problem with this season that I have not been able to get over. It's been bothering me. And for a series that started off with its first 2 seasons being so dynamically good, I think that's why it bothers me so much that it's taken this much of a downturn. And again, it's just my opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine. But it's my reactions. I'm going to state my opinion. That's part of the point. It's not even as much that there's like more slice of lifey stuff going on. Even though, again, as I've stated before, that is part of it, because I do feel like with it being a season 3, they should have upped the ante, not brought things down in terms of, stakes and overall tone of the series. And at the same time, that's not the biggest issue when all these other things are having problems. Excuse me. But I'm just, especially after last episode, I'm just also a bit annoyed. Because it's like, well, there have been some great things about this season. And for example, I love, again, the uptick on the gay with Harley and Ivy. I love the uptick on the sexuality, despite the fact that they still weren't able to get the entire thing with Batman eating out Catwoman. Yet they're allowed to show barely censored tits. That's fine. But, a man reciprocating sex, that's not allowed. Heroes don't do that. I'm not over that. I will never be over that. But it's just, I just feel like there was so much potential for this season. And while they're working well, again, with a single aspect of it, being Harley and Ivy, everything else, unfortunately, is not working at all. And it's taking away from the season as a whole. Because while it is Harley's series and her and Ivy are the main characters and everything, you can't, ignore everything else and just chalk it up to that and just use that as an excuse as to why everything else would be not as good. That's not how it works. But yeah, we have 4 more episodes to go here, and hopefully it turns things around. Because right now, I barely care. And season 4 is already greenlit, and I'm just saying right now, I hope to God that that's better. I hope to God that they pick things back up. Because this has been such a weak season. And as much as I love the queer rep, no amount of gay can save that. Because the show is much more than just that. So we're just going to get on with this. We have 2 episodes to get through here. We're going to get on with this and hope for the best. See what these episodes have in store. And hopefully they'll turn me around. Hopefully these episodes will be good and turn things around for me. Especially after the last episode. But we'll see. So let's just get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so obviously we're gonna go through this in order. Episode 7. There's the A plot and the B plot. The B plot once again it's more interesting than other B plots we've had, such as with the entire Clayface shit. It's probably one of the better B plots we've had. Not as good as like the Bat Family stuff in previous episodes and all, but it's up there. But still, it's just still not as interesting. King Shark has to go back down to his kingdom. His father had passed away, and so now he's going to let his brother, the prince, take the throne. And when he finds out that his brother is planning to sell the kingdom to Ocean Master, he gets upset and they have a fight, which eventually leads into an actual attack on each other that has no end until King Shark has to kill his brother to stop him. And then apparently, I guess, this kind of goes to the next episode, but it's a very brief moment in the next episode, so it's just, I can talk about it here, it doesn't matter. For some reason, his kingdom is now in Catwoman's closet, and it's like, that part I don't get. It's like, the kingdom still exists down there. It's like, what is going on? Maybe that'll be explained, maybe not, I don't know. Honestly, probably not. But it was again, it was better than other ones, but it was still very meh to me. The A plot, though. Harley is breaking into this gala to get to Bruce Wayne, because, he has Frank and everything. And she ends up getting involved in a plot by the Mad Hatter to take down Batgirl. And at first she decides to leave to say deuces and fuck off, but her inner Harley Quinn talks to her and convinces her that she does actually want to be friends with Babs, even if she doesn't want to admit it, and that it is the right thing to go back and save her. So she does. And I love how Babs, after getting saved, is just like, you like me, you like being a good guy. And it's just poking fun at her, and it's just that's hilarious, actually. And Harley killing Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch, just because, just to kind of prove Babs wrong, is really funny too. This A-plot was actually one of the better ones of the season. And ironically, it wasn't Harlivy focused, because Ivy was at Catwoman's place still, sick from going into the green too much. So it's interesting that they suddenly ramped up things to be a little more, quality, I guess you could say, to have a little more better quality, which has been missing from this season. Because when all you had going for this season was the Harlivy stuff, it's like having a plot that's not specifically Harlivy focused, that's actually still good, is refreshing in this season. And it wasn't the best necessarily, but it was definitely good. And I think that's because Babs and Harley do have exceptional chemistry together. Um, like they work really well off of each other, and I think that's what definitely sold this A plot for me. Um, so I think that's probably the big draw of it, just seeing them work off of each other, and I want to see so much more of that. Um, I kind of wish like Bat. I almost kind of wish that Batgirl would defect from the Bat family and join them or something. um, I think that would actually be fun. But I don't know. I just feel like this was a surprise and an outlier to this season so far. But then we get into episode 8, and this was even better, surprisingly. Again, without it being Harlivy focused. And it's like, where has all of this been earlier in the season? You spend 6 episodes where Harlivy is the only thing that is keeping this season afloat. And then all of a sudden you bring out the big guns and act as if like things never really stopped. Like these were on the quality of season 1 and 2 episodes. Why is this the exception? Why is this coming in only at the end? Why is this level of quality not the norm for this season? The comedy is better. The depth of it is better. The intensity is better. It's like the entire rest of this season was so weak in comparison. So in this episode, we get Dr. Psycho back, and that's the big drawback of the episode, to be fair. Because Dr. Psycho is, yeah, not great. Like, there's a certain comedy element to him, but there's a reason why him leaving the gang worked so well, and I hope this is kind of a one and done return, you know? I hope he doesn't come back for good. Because I really did not miss him at all. I don't want him back. But we get him back, and we find out that Harley and Ivy's plan is to have him send them into Bruce Wayne's mind, who they've kidnapped, in order to find out where Frank is, like, a little more directly. So they're sent in, and unfortunately, Harley fucks things up pretty quickly, because anytime they go into the mind, Harley's gonna fuck things up. It's the rules. It's how it goes. So she ends up interfering with the repeated cycle of Bruce's parents' death by stopping young Bruce from seeing it and, becoming traumatized. This allows her to kind of unlock his inner self. I compared this to Owl House in the reaction, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like the inner Willow or the inner Bellows. Actually, quite like the inner Bellows, more like, because of traveling with him and being the young kid and everything. But, so it's kind of like that. And we see Harley trying to get him away from Joe Chill, who is chasing him down, and as we find out in the end, just to bring him back to Crime Alley and to continue the loop. And they start going through his memories. She starts talking to him about his traumas and everything, as, a licensed psychiatrist and everything. And things are... She's getting through to him, clearly. We get to see some of his memories and stuff, and she even finds out that he's Batman. Unfortunately, the adult self of Bruce comes in, who was, I guess, Joe Chill, because in his mind, Bruce blames himself because of his choice to want to walk home. Which, again, this is not new information for Harley Quinn. Like, we've known this from other media for Batman and stuff. It's not a thing that few people know, as they claimed in the episode. This is actually a very common thing, that Bruce blames himself for his parents' death. Like, that's very well known. So we see that he's blaming himself really badly, and that Harley's trying to get through to him, but it doesn't quite work. So she wants to leave to try and reach him on the outside. Unfortunately, while she was still unconscious, even though the others were knocked out of the mind and not allowed back in, while she was unconscious, everyone else was taken except Psycho, who fucked off. I don't think Psycho was there. Let me check. Let me check to be sure here. No, Psycho was there. Sorry, it was King Shark who was missing because he went into his closet. Psycho was actually captured with them. Okay. So they were taken to Wayne Manor by the Bat family. Bruce, at that point, like, Harley's still trying to get through to him, but he doesn't listen. And with what Harley found out in the mind, Bruce has modified Frank's DNA further to be able to resurrect not only dead plants, but dead humans as well. He wants to bring his parents back. Which, you know, I've seen Full Metal Alchemist. I know how that shit goes. It's not good. And before we get to the ending, there was a scene as well I almost forgot to mention, where it's like Harley enters the memory version of Robin, and she and, like, Batgirl and everyone fight together against Joker from the past, and even a past version of Harley, which current Harley is not too fond of, even realizing how fucked up she used to be in multiple ways. But we see just even the idea brought in that Harley actually kind of likes crime fighting. And I'm starting to wonder, with how things have gone throughout this series, if they're going to go a route where Harley becomes a good guy, because that's happened in the comics and stuff. I wonder if they're actually going to go the route where Harley and Ivy and everyone is actually, like, fully turned over to the good side, even if just temporarily. That would be very interesting if they actually took it in that direction. Plus, it would allow for more of Harley and Babs fighting together, and I'm always game for that. As I mentioned, that's it. They just have amazing on-screen chemistry together, which makes sense considering Babs is voiced by Kaylee Cuoco's sister, so it makes sense they would work well off of each other. But let's get to the ending, because we're going full Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and we're raising the dead here. Bruce Wayne has created zombies. And it's like, if we don't at least get a mention of Solomon Grundy during these last two episodes, I'm going to be upset. Because that's just perfectly set up. But in all seriousness, the rise of the Wayne parents and all the other zombies in that graveyard and everything, cliffhanging the episode, is genuinely the best moment of this entire season. And that's with all of the Harley stuff, which is awesome. I love the Harley stuff, as I've mentioned. That's with even the sexual stuff, which, again, I loved that they included in there. Like, not even just from, like, a horny perspective or anything. I just actually love that stuff is included. Also, Nora flashing her tits and everything was also really fucking funny. I don't know why. But even with all the other actually really good moments of this season, that was the best. Because one, it raises the stakes, something that this season has been notably dry on. Two, it's fucking zombies. And it's zombies in Harley Quinn, and that's really exciting. And three, it's well directed. The way it's set up, the amount of what we see, and just the knowledge of what's going on and how big of a deal this is, it's well set up to be a strong cliffhanger. Like, that's the point. They very clearly wanted this cliffhanger to stick with you, and it does. It's insane. And this is after an entire episode delving into Bruce's inner psyche and emotional trauma. And so seeing him take it this far also works from just every conceptual level. This is the kind of shit that this season should have been filled with. These two episodes, especially episode 8, is, again, on a level that the rest of the season just has not been able to attain. And it's really unfortunate because there was so much potential to go with the start of this season, and I just feel they just didn't go with it. They didn't do anything with that potential until now. But it's like it's the third to last episode, and it's like at this point you're just kind of like a little late for that. So it's exciting, but it does also kind of suck that they waited this long to actually get to the good shit. Again, there was plenty about the season that I liked. There was plenty of moments this season that I liked. Harley was great. Harley was worked well. Their relationship and how it was handled was good. But everything else was carried entirely by that. And I just feel like we needed more high-quality content typical of this series throughout the entire season, and we just did not get it, in my opinion. But luckily, we are seemingly going to end off on quite the bang, and it's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully going to be pretty damn cool. Because while I don't like all zombie media, zombies are still rad. They're fucking awesome. Let's be honest here. It's a good trope. And when done well, even if in a more comedic way, such as this or the Return of the Living Dead movies, I think that there's so much potential for how to work that. Like, it doesn't have to be a super serious movie like Train to Busan, though that is still my favorite zombie piece of media, period. But it just has to be done well. And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I am hoping to hell it is here. Because there is so much amazing potential to work with in this. And, like, imagine if, like, the Frank serum, or whatever you want to call it, spreads throughout the rest of Gotham. Excuse me. The rest of Gotham, too. And we see a bunch of people all over the city resurrect. What if we see characters who we saw in previous seasons get resurrected? Let's get zombie Scarecrow, zombie Penguin. Let's get them back. Zombie Mr. Freeze. That would be fucking rad. There is so much potential. Hell, I can think of an amazing joke right off the top of my head they could work with this. Have all the zombies resurrecting, everyone around getting freaked out and scared, and then you see Solomon Grundy, and no one's paying him any attention or mind, and he feels sad about it. That would be fucking hilarious. Obviously, I can't explain it well enough to do it justice, at least the way it's thought of in my head. But it would be amazing to do like a little joke in there, just a single second of a joke of Grundy being a little jealous of the attention that the other zombies are getting. That would be amazing. And it would be a good way to integrate Grundy into this, because you have to, again, you have to at least mention Solomon Grundy. He is the zombie villain of Batman. You have to at least mention him. But either way, like I said, this was a great cliffhanger. Like, unbelievably good for how this season has been going. And I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I'm also very excited for what the final 2 episodes are going to bring. But we'll get to that next time. In the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these 2 episodes of Harley Quinn Season 3? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.